Yo, what's up, chat? How's everyone doing? Welcome to another episode with your boy TraderPrad. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful day. I see a lot of people in the chat today. I love that Dieter, TH, Rico, Buddha, Josh, CDP. Rico's I don't think I've seen you before in the chat. Nice to see a new username. Or is that just Angry Buddha's secondary account? It looks like it might be Angry Buddha's secondary account. But yeah, how's everyone doing? Welcome. I love to see all the faces in the chat. Hopefully, like I said, you guys had a wonderful day today. Market was pretty eventful, to say the least. I mean, there were so many opportunities, especially later on in the day when the market kind of broke down a little bit. Gave you so many opportunities to the short side. There were some longs to play off too. Apple, surprisingly enough, was pretty strong on the day, even though the QQQs were pretty damn weak today. So we can talk about that a little bit. Some of the earnings movers were interesting to make money off of. For example, Palantir did end up going to that 52-week high, and then later on breaking past the 52-week high, making a new 52-week high later on in the day. I think around, if I remember, $22.15 or so, if I remember accurately. But boy, oh boy, what a monster move on Palantir and Snapchat. I mean, Snapchat, complete opposite of Palantir, down 30%, absolutely smoked. Snapchat, I believe most of its move has been kind of sympathy trading off of Meta platform. You know, I was expecting them to come out with a miss on their earnings report and flush to the downside, but I wasn't expecting them to flush 30 goddamn percent of the downside. So that's a big miss over there, I guess. On their side, we can take a look at the report. ENPH being one of the other stocks I reported today after hours. Elf Beauty, VFC, the company that owns Supreme, and North Face. I believe it's North Face, and a bunch of other apparel companies out there. VFC reporting their earnings report, so we can go take a look at that stock too, and a bunch of other stocks that are reporting tomorrow pre-market, which is the more interesting basket for us. So we'll talk about all these earnings plays. We also have a news that came out later on in the day, I guess not later on in the day, but after hours, that Walt Disney, Fox News, or should I say Fox Sports, Fox Entertainment, either way, Fox Sports, Fox Entertainment, Walt Disney, or Disney Plus, or ESPN Plus, whatever you want to call that side, and Warner Brother Discovery are all going to partner up and basically make one big sports streaming package. So most likely those stocks moved around in the after hours, and we can go take a look at what type of trading opportunities show up on those stocks over there. And last but not least, we always love taking a look at our Magnificent Seven, which is the Apples and the Microsofts of the world. So we'll take a look at that to see what type of opportunities show up for us on the wonderful, is today Tuesday? Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, on a wonderful Wednesday that's coming up, February 7th. So why don't we start off over here getting started with the watch list for today, which is bang right here, as we were just talking about some of the stocks: Snapchat, ENPH, Elf Beauty, some of the major large cap stocks, some of the stocks that are already reported, some of the stocks that have yet to report. We do have some of the research done for these stocks that have yet to report. We'll talk about that more in depth later on. And if anyone's interested in signing up to our watch list, which we're going to fill out all the information for the stocks that we're interested in, such as the supports, resistances, the notes that we're looking out for. If you're interested in that watch list, you can subscribe to it on Patreon. So why don't we get started over here? Here's the earnings board for this week, starting off with some of the stocks that reported after hours today. I know CMG, TH is pretty happy with CMG, probably eating a steak bowl over there while watching the show. At least I hope he is, because you know, that sounds pretty damn good. Chipotle coming out with a good earnings report. Or if I remember accurately, they popped about like 6% or so. Maybe more, I don't know, we have to go check, but they popped up to the north side. A couple of the other stocks that we already mentioned. CMG, I'm not really putting it on my watch list because of how expensive of a stock it is. Don't think that it's going to bring in immense amount of volume either, where the spread is going to be manageable. So CMG most likely not worth it for the trade for me tomorrow, but we do have a lot of stocks on the board over here to talk about, and some of the stocks that already moved around today, especially Palantir. Looking for some sort of a day 2 trade on Palantir, and see if we can get a continuation on that breakout of the 52-week high, at which point we were struggling for quite some time. I know you guys like Palantir, but see, Kramer just said it buy. Oh no. Oh no, why Kramer ruining my portfolio? Well, thankfully I'm already out of Palantir, so I don't really care. But no, that sucks. That sucks that Kramer came out and said Palantir is a buy rating. He also came out and said Tesla bottomed out. I guess he's not wrong about that. Tesla did bottom out today. So shout out to him on saying that. But no, he also came out and said Tesla bottomed out. So we were worrying, I was worried to see Tesla now under $100. Something that's very much possible in the near future. Jesus, a burrito for 2,500? Yes, indeed. So a monster pop in the after hours over here for CMG. Let me clear my throat. A monster pop over here in the after hours for CMG, taking the stock to 2,580. Is that a new all-time high now? Pretty much, yep, new all-time high. Can't stop, won't stop. Just non-stop movement to the upside over here. Sadly, only bringing in 400,000 shares on an average scale, but the average actually is 200,000 shares. Sometimes on earnings days, it does bring in a million or maybe a little bit more than million. I'm expecting maybe tomorrow will be one of those days as the stock is taking out all-time high on an earnings report. Here's a little bit of an example of maybe what it looks like when the stock takes out the all-time high on a good earnings report, right? This move right here, you can see how the stock brought in 1.5 million shares, and it had about what is the range of that candle? High of 2,447, so let's say 2,050. Low of 1,918, let's say 1,900. So a low of 1,900 and a high of 2,050. You do the math there. That's how much of a range of a candle the stock brought in. Whereas the average ATR of the stock is probably not that much. It's only $36, and it clearly brought in way more than $36 worth of a move over here on that earnings move. Also, it broke out from the previous all-time high and kept running up. So now the stock is not really exactly in this setup. The stock was pushed down, was pulled back up right before earnings, and then on the earnings it pushed into the all-time high and then broke out of the all-time high. Not the exact same setup over here. You can see how the stock volatilely pushed up to the north side too. This was a little bit more consolidated on a longer time period, and then it pushed up volatilely on a smaller time period. We don't really have that longer time period consolidation in the upper end of these ranges for us to maybe expect something of a equivalent move. But CMG reported a pretty good earnings report. It did pop up in the pre-market or after hours, and we are looking for an overextension to the north side on this all-time high move. So maybe there could be more fun tomorrow. But like I said, guys, I am not going to be really looking for a trade on CMG. So not worth for me to talk about. Not worth wasting my time talk about it. So we're going to move on to stocks that reported and I'm actually going to be willing to trade and apply proper risk management on, or so I believe so. Let's go to Snapchat. Snapchat reporting earnings. To the downside, it goes. Reported about in line EPS, maybe actually also beat EPS, but missed on revenue. I'm guessing they missed on a bunch of other metrics across the board, especially on numbers such as average online customers or not customers, daily active user numbers. I'm guessing something along those numbers coming out pretty bad. Let's go check out what the report is. Before that, we're gonna go check up our friends from Benzinga. Benzinga, what do you have to say? Stock crashes on Q4 earnings, revenue miss, EPS beat, cautious guidance, and more. So it looks like the guidance is the one that hurt the stock overall. Snapchat increased 5% year over year on revenue, but missed on the consensus at the end of the day still, even after increasing 5% year over year. Company reported daily active grew users by 10%. That's not bad. 414 million. Basically more children using the company. The company noted the daily active users increased sequentially and year over year on both iOS and Android. The total time spent watching Spotlight increased more than 175% a year. Not sure what the hell Spotlight is. I'm guessing it's some sort of an Instagram reel type of thing. Daily active users grew 10% year over year. We saw that already. Operating cash flow came in at and free cash flow came in at 2023 was a pivotal year for Snap. We transformed our advertising business and continued to expand our global community, reaching 414 million. The fact that they keep having to stress that 414 million, maybe I guess it's the first time I'm saying it. Maybe he didn't really stress it out. Never mind. Snap did not provide formal guidance last quarter, citing headwinds related to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. In a letter to the shareholders, noted that the Middle East conflict is estimated to have a 2% point impact on year-over-year growth in the fourth quarter. Snap guided for the first quarter revenue, blah, 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 blah. As we enter Q1, we anticipate continued growth of our global community, and as a result, our guidance range is built on the assumption that DAU, daily active users, will be approximately 420 million compared to 414 million. So not that big of an increase. That's not really that bullish. Honestly, you guys know my opinion on Snapchat. The only people using Snapchat are single men and women, or men and women who are cheating on their girlfriends and their boyfriends. And the only other people who use it are kids. Like, it's that simple. The user base eventually dies out for this company as more and more people keep getting older. It's the Roblox effect, right? You play Roblox when you were a kid. Now, when you grow up, you might be interested in Call of Duty a little bit, especially when you get bullied by your friends for playing Roblox. You're not gonna go home and play Roblox. You're gonna go play Call of Duty with your friends. Maybe Pal World, right? Maybe call it Pal World. Eventually, you're going to move on from Roblox. Snapchat sadly suffers from that same problem. They have a big problem with innovation. They are always just copying other companies like Instagram, right? Instagram Reels, they kind of copied that. They have now like an AI system in there that I saw that they created, some sort of an AI bot. I mean, who's really using a Snapchat AI bot to do any sort of work? It's kind of ridiculous. One thing I did like Snapchat for was their ability to make really good software in terms of, I don't know if you guys have used this, but there used to be a a desktop application that puts filters and masks over your webcam face, which was pretty fun. It was a fun application to use, but then they stopped supporting it. Clearly because they had to cut workforce, not enough workforce to maintain the product itself that they have on the mobile app. So they had to discontinue the desktop app, I'm guessing. So that being discontinued just gives me more bearish news for the stock. I think most of this move over here was not on the merit of Snapchat at all. All of this move over here, let's go back to the 1 year time frame. All of this move over here is just on the coattails, on the piggybacking of Meta. Especially anytime Meta pops up on earnings, this stock pops up on earnings too. So very much piggybacking on Meta over here. And as we have seen every single time on earnings report, when this stock pops up, earnings report takes it right back to the downside into reality territory. So down goes Snapchat. Where did we actually drop down to in the after hours? Down into $11.66. On the daily chart, that's right around over here. Right around these areas. So pretty solid drop, 30% drop. I mean, you could see some profit takers coming in. Profit takers meaning short sellers. You could see some longs who punch long into these areas, probably covering for $1 per share profit, because imagine you're long at $9-10 and you're watching the stock back at $11 after being long for so long, right? You were long for a big amount of period of time, from August till 2024, August 2023 till let's say till January 2024, and you're happy that the stock is rising, and now you see it coming right back into 11. Maybe you shit yourself a little bit. So some of them taking the longs closing might bring it down, but I'm more interested in what's going on as the shorts are taking profit. Who has more driving power over here on this position tomorrow? Let's quickly put in some lines by going on to the 60-minute time frame chart, turn off our regular trading hours, go into turn off extended trading hours and go into regular trading hours. What could be the first few points of resistance on the stock? So clearly we have this area over here of resistance. Don't think the stock, maybe it does move back into 14 area and then rejects over there. So that's a clear top that we're looking at the moment. I'm going to put in a line over here. This is a little bit of a more choppy, messy range. This is a little bit more of a choppy, messy range. We have a couple points of interest for the stock. So let's go see where those are. 1196, 1244, and 1267. So 11.9. These two are basically a purple box range. So let's draw in a purple box for that. There you go. And now let's go analyze the move after hours for the earnings report. See if our lines kind of came into play or not. We do know that the stock dropped all the way down to 1180, so that 1190 line should be in play. So there is that move right there. You can see how that purple box lower line of the purple box also came into play after a first pop showed rejection and then kind of consolidated around this 1180, 1190. It actually dropped down to 1160. I thought it dropped down to 1190. But yeah, 1160, 1150 coming into play. If for any reason we do pop up tomorrow into these areas, we'll be looking for a short. Interesting to see that the purple anchored VWAP is exactly, not the purple, the earnings anchored VWAP is exactly in that purple range. So a pop into what looks like 1250, 1260 will be something to keep an eye out for. And that is also the 50 period moving average, or EMA, 50 period EMA, also coming in around that 1260, 1270 area on Snapchat on the 5-minute charts. A lot of moving averages coming into play over here. Lots of resistances to the north side. I am very interested to see how Snapchat plays out tomorrow. Will be fun off the open. Maybe some SSR longs off the open, and then later on in the day, just more smack. Let's see what the chat talks about over here. Snap decided to go cliff jumping. That it did indeed. But honestly, the move looked like a lesson in algo and orders triggering. Oh no, please don't tell me you took Snapchat long. Oh no, please don't tell me you took Snapchat long. I think Dieter did the same thing too. I gamble on the earnings on Snapchat. Please tell me it wasn't more than like 10% of your account. Please. I had an order in at 1377. It was approximately the anchored VWAP from the bottom of the dailies. Okay, let's go check that out. So the bottom of the dailies will be right here. Or are you talking about the 52-week low? Or are you talking about the all-time low? That's the all-time low. That one is at $22. Let's go to the 52-week low. And that one is at $12 or $11.91. That one's at $11.91. If you go to the 5-minute chart, I guess that one was at $14, right? But that one was at $11. So, Dieter, I guess, yeah, 1377.14. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not off by that much. But Dieter, you know not to gamble on earnings plays like that. I thought I had the bottom at some point. I mean, yeah, maybe you kind of look like that, right? What was it? 1377.14. Yeah, right over here. Maybe not. No, on the 5-minute chart, it just looks like a straight flush to the downside. Maybe on the 2-minute chart, it looks a little bit cleaner. Yeah, it does look like you might have caught the bottom a little bit. Not really, though. Yeah, just don't gamble with earnings. Lesson learned. Play with flyer and get burned. Fuck around and find out. Play silly games and get silly results. Right? It happens. It's okay. It's okay, Dieter. That's why I'm saying this is algo action. Ooh, okay. Popped into 1850 sales triggered, which is why increasing year over year, more single payout. This is an AI bot for basement sims. I was trading that range for a whole year. It was nice. Only quarter position, not even close. Okay, awesome. Yeah, as long as it's not more than like 10% of your account, it really doesn't matter. You took a gamble, it's fine. You know, you roll the dice. It's fine to roll the dice every now and then. Just don't make it a habit, because then that's how you lose your account, right? That's how you blow up accounts. Every now and then, a random dice roll is perfectly fine. Snapchat, though, I would have 100% rolled the dice to the downside every time. Every time. That's just how the stock goes, in my opinion. I felt it was going to gap up. I mean, yeah, it did. It did start to look like that, didn't it? Yeah, it did look to start to do that. I mean, the volume really only came in later on. Yeah, this is something that we talk about all the time, right? When you're taking a trade, you want to see the volume come in, especially for news-based events. News-based events like earnings, when they report in the after hours, you will always see what I call a fugazi, a fake move, a bullshit move before the earnings report usually comes in and the volume starts to kick in, right? You're seeing the stock do nothing, a little bit of a volume ramp, it starts to move in, and then it actually starts to move around. If you see on the 1 minute, it looks like the stock actually reported earnings at 16:13, which is 4:13 p.m. But I'm seeing if it reported earlier. I'm seeing 4:10 on Benzinga. So 4:10 would be right there where most of the volume came in, and the stock just started reversing its direction. If you go to the 5-minute chart, you can see where that's exactly where most of the volume kind of started squeezing in. Before that, on the previous candle where the stock did move up, it moved up so on very, very, very little volume compared to the move down, which was an absolute smack to the downside, which I think is what actually the earnings report came out on. Usually you'll see that happen a lot. Stocks move around before the earnings report comes out. Sometimes algo, sometimes someone's shitting bricks and scared of their position. So we should always be careful. I'm trying to show you what Netflix did on its earnings day. See if we can kind of get an example here. See how it goes kind of a little bit lower and then flushes. But Netflix, I think, probably came out exactly at like 4 o'clock. And Tesla came out like 4 o'clock. That's why the volume is like exactly at 4 o'clock there. Maybe not a good example, but sometimes you'll see stocks move around, not really do too much volume before they move. We spent so much time on Snapchat and we haven't even like mapped out any levels or I guess we did map out levels, but haven't really made a game plan for tomorrow. So the game plan for tomorrow on Snapchat, honestly, will be to wait and see what the stock does in pre-market. In my opinion, I could see the stock kind of trickling back into this purple box, and then at which point we could possibly make some decisions, see where the stock opens up at in pre-market. We'll currently be watching the after hour low too. The after hour low right around 11:50. It's actually 11:66. So let's just put in that number over here as a first support, 11:66, but not really a true line in sand as a support for me just yet. Something to keep as a reference though, 11:66 on Snapchat. If it does pop into that earnings anchored VWAP, I'll be watching it closely to see if there's some weakness pouring into the purple range that we drew in. If there is more weakness coming in, then we could have some fun with Snapchat. The next stock on board is ENPH. Ooh, wrong box. ENPH. this stock is usually very interesting to trade, especially when interest rates are coming out, along with a bunch of other energy stocks such as SEDG, other solar companies, and so on. So ENPH in that basket. But today, basically moving around on the earnings report, looks like a red earnings report, but the move is to the upside. So the CEO, who's been dying to save the company for the last few weeks, months, years, finally is getting a little bit of an upside reaction move on the earnings report. Shout out to him on that one. Reclaiming the 100 area. Today the stock basically struggled around the $100 area, and today moving above the $100 area. I guess I shouldn't say struggled. It clearly got above 100 and basically traded between 100 and 101, but now finally taking out the 100, pushing into that 101, what is this, 114, 115s. Looks like the stock is getting ready for an eventual move into 140 over there. But something that I gotta throw out for these stocks is, I mean, the earnings reports moves are taking it up, but interest rate decisions could bring these stocks right back to the downside, so you might want to be a little bit careful. ENPH, however, is a semiconductor stock. I thought this was like a solar energy stock. Maybe I'm wrong. It's a semiconductors, but overall energy stock coming in, and a semiconductor stock, maybe both of them coming in with a nice little move to the upside. Let's go take a look at how the stock looks like on the 60-minute chart. So here are some interesting areas. The stock is somewhere in these ranges right now. The low of these ranges at the moment, 105, 111, 115, I guess. That's a pretty clear top, triple top coming in around 115. You can see how much of a consolidation we've had in this box over here, so we could possibly find another easy resistance somewhere in this area. Look at that bounce, and then that bounce from that low basically turned into a double top from which we sold off of. So 119.57 will be interesting for me. Another area of interest will be that 123, and then the final one, 127, which I honestly don't think comes into play tomorrow. I'll be honest with you. I do not think that one comes into play tomorrow. Here's some support possibility at 111.94. Sorry, 110.94. I can't goddamn speak, my mind's fried. 110.94, let's just say 111. Possible supports could come in around that price. Now let's go back to the 5-minute chart real quick and go look at the earnings move. See how that one moved? Oh, isn't that wonderful, guys? Prastradamus coming in, showing you how to put some lines on the chart. I mean, we did see the after hour move, but I mean, I didn't know exactly the low and the high, but you can see how we kind of boxed it up. We figured it out. We boxed it up. We understand now why the stock moved the way it did in the after hours. Why did the buying come in over here? Why did the selling coming over here? And what are the ranges to possibly keep an eye out for? So clearly that 111 area is a little bit of an interest in the after hour support. Also, we got a clear 115 resistance coming in the after hours, but it did make a move above 115 into 117.27. But for me, I'll be watching that 115 area to see if the stock can get above 115 and show some buying above it. And then pre-market will be interesting to see what happens too. Maybe the stock opens above 115 and is actually going into 117 to open up at. So at that point, we'll just have to revamp our levels and kind of start fresh. But ENPH, I'm only charting levels to the upside right now because of the upside move that the stock has had, but we'll have to kind of wait and see if the stock moves to the downside. Then I have to maybe put some new levels to the downside because the earnings report was negative, so watch out for that one. Ford making a nice move to the upside, bringing in a decent volume candle today too. But real quick, let's talk about Palantir. Didn't I say I can expect Palantir to bring in 300 million shares? It brought in 420 million shares traded on the day today. So shout out to Palantir over there. At that point, you just have to invest in Palantir. 420, baby. Ford coming in with a decent amount of volume today, almost 100 million shares. Let's see if Ford could add to its valuation off this earnings report. I actually saw the after hour move, and the report was a solid beat, 140% beat on EPS. Wow. What did you do over there to have that beat? Let's go do some research. Oh, supplemented dividend? What does that mean? You starting a dividend? Or you added to the dividend? Or you cut to the dividend? What does supplemented dividend mean? Supplemental dividend. EV update and more. Okay. Revenue up 4% year over year. Company reported blah 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 blah. Ford Blue 206. Okay, yeah, these are the EV numbers. Are these the EV numbers? Oh, they're different segments. What's Ford Blue? Ford Blue division will focus on taking the internal combustion engine into the future, which will further drive growth and profitability. What is Ford Model E? That's the electric group. Excited to announce Ford Model E, a great leap forward into the company long proud history founded by blah 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 blah. Okay, that's the that's the electric vision forward. So that's two electric groups. Ford Pro. What is Ford Pro committed to? Create a smooth transition from commercial customers into electric. Huh? They all sound electric to me. What's going on over here? I guess they're talking about the electric company over here. They're talking about the growth of the electric company in that case. Then why don't you put that a little bit better for stupid people like me to understand? Why do I have to do research on this? Okay. Ford Blue basically flat. Ford Model E up 2%. Ford Pro up 11% overall. Ford Model E, I'm guessing, is a sports version. Those are your Mustang Mach E or whatever they call it these days. Ford Blue is probably those I don't know what they are. I'm not gonna guess, and I'm not gonna guess what Ford Pro is. Electrical vehicles continue to be the focus in Dearborn. I'm guessing that's where they make the Ford cars, or that's where the headquarters of Ford is. EVs are here to stay. Customer adoption is growing, and they're long term. Okay, so basically a lot of EV talk. Ford Model E, again EV, ended up full year fiscal basis. EBITDA loss of 4.7 billion, around 29 billion in cash. First quarter dividend 15 cents, supplemented dividend of 18 cents per share. Both dividends are payable on March 1st. Shareholders of record previously on February 16th. So if you were a shareholder February 16th or earlier, you're getting the dividend on March 1st. What's next? Ford is guiding for a full year adjusted EBITDA of 10 billion to 12 billion for the next fiscal year. Free cash flow of 6 billion to 7 billion ranges. Don't you have 29 billion in free cash flow? You're going to drop to 6 to 7? Why? Capital expenditure for the next full fiscal quarter to be 8 to 9 billion. Okay, that probably explains why. The company sees the Model E, blah, 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 coming in a loss. Okay, awesome. We're the only company that gives customers such a wide range of choices, gas, hybrid, and electric, made possible by our Ford Plus plan and the talented team that's carrying it out, says Jim Farley. Ford is creating a product, software, and service powerhouse with huge potential for this year and long haul. Ford price action up 7% after hours versus the 52-week trading week range of that to that. Okay, pretty damn close to the 52-week range high, according to Benzinga. Now, let's do our own charting and our own research. Ford clearly popping up. Ford clearly boosting the whole EV business and trying to leech off of Tesla, I guess, right? Kind of steal Tesla's shine over there. So here's the 5-minute chart. Here's the after hour move. Monster pump up to the north side. But what we want to see is the 60-minute chart. And we want to turn off after hours. So turn off after hours. Here's the 60-minute chart. Now let's start throwing some lines in. That's a very important recent high. This is a very important recent high. This is a little bit of a triple top over here. Double top, triple top area. there's a little bit of a box, honestly. That box could go from like here to here, and then another box could go from here to here. Maybe I draw it out instead of talking about it. Yeah, maybe we just leave one box. That whole range over there is pretty interesting. There are some minor bounces over here that the stock has rejected off of previously, 1266, but you can see how 1266 was a little important for like what? 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. But then we also have this little rejection over here, and we also have this little rejection over here, and this little rejection over here. So at that point, how many fucking lines are you gonna put in, right? It really doesn't make sense. So I'm just gonna leave one line in for this whole area, and we have that area mapped out for ourselves for tomorrow. And if I remember accurately, the stock should be somewhere in these ranges. So let's go check out the 5-minute chart and turn on the extended trading hours. And there you go. Ta-da! The purple range. Almost started singing Purple Rain over there. But purple range, and exactly the low of that range is where the anchored VWAP is. The low of the range is where the stock is showing beautiful supports coming in. So watching 1280. You can even say 1279, 1260, whatever, right? 1280 to 1270, basically, you're watching as a support. Resistances, you're watching this $13 to $13.13. $13 basically flat because we're rounding up from $12.91 to 13, and $13.13 because that is the actual after hour high where someone sold and took profits on or took shorts into. So $13.13 all the way from $13 to $13.13 is a little bit of an important area for me to watch out for tomorrow. So forward over here, I mean, the stock's ATR is only 35 cents, and we have moved up way more than that, right? About 2 ATR move, almost 60-cent move coming in over here on forward. Let's see if we can get an extension of that ATR to the north side, or does it gap close and then start trickling back to the north side? We do know, oh my god, how did I know that you were gonna show up in the chat today, Momo? Usually she's never here in the chat, but anytime Ford or GM or Pfizer report earnings, she's always here. So there she is. She's talking about, I've been killing it on Ford. I had a day trade off earnings too. 1320 is a big critical point to break through. So she is agreeing with that 1320 $13 area to watch out for. And if we do get past that area, I kind of didn't really throw in more lines for myself because, I mean, what are we really expecting at this point? Somewhere here? Right, we're basically talking almost February 2023 high coming into play. Not really 2023 highs, but February levels coming into play over here on the intraday scale. When the stock's ATR is only 35 cents, I'm maybe only expecting another 60 cents from the after hour high. So let's say 1350, 1360 at best will be the intraday high tomorrow. For that, the stock needs to clear 13 and 1320 to begin with. So let's see what happens tomorrow pre-market. Is it a gap fill trade? Is it a breakout trade? All of those answers will be given to us in pre-market. Next stock, ELF. Elf Beauty, kind of like Ulta Beauty, usually does give you wonderful trades, but on a way cheaper price than Ulta Beauty. So ELF, pretty good volume too. So I'm excited to see how the stock moves around on pre-market tomorrow. It didn't really do too much volume today after hours, sadly. So hence I'm not really going to spend too much time on this stock, but we'll just quickly throw in some lines over here on the stock. If it wasn't exciting in the after hours off the earnings report, the chances are it's usually not that exciting intraday. So I'm gonna probably be a little turned off on this one. Also, is this stock at all-time highs? It is also at all-time highs. So hey, take the damn breakout. Take the all-time high breakout if it shows up. We're already above today's high in the earnings report. So there is really no lines for me to even plop. The only levels of interest for us are today's high, today's low, the after hour high that it's made around 186, and can we get above 186 for a more insane high to wherever the valuation is supposed to be. So 186 is on view. We're watching, what is today's high? 174.65. So let's just say 174.50 on view for support, and under 174.50 you're watching 168.50 as a second area for support. So clear blue skies to the north side at the moment, and it looks like the rocket ship is getting ready to take off. So join the party or be late and cry about it all you want. Next stock up on board is FTNT. Fortinet, cloud services company, cloud technology. I think it's actually what's it called? What's the word? God damn it, I don't have my water bottle. I think the word I'm looking for is security. Cybersecurity company, I think so. Fortinet sounds like, you know, fortifying internet, fortifying net. I think it's a cybersecurity company. Hey, I got it. Cybersecurity company, pretty damn close to it, all-time highs. You could maybe take a look at CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike basically doing the same thing. CRM, even though CRM is Salesforce, they're not really CrowdStrike based. But CrowdStrike, Cloudflare, Net. You can take a look at Net, another good example, who's also coming out with their earnings report sometime this week, actually Thursday after hours. So you can take a look at these positions to maybe get an idea of how to trade these positions if you haven't before. FTNT, but I love the ranges over here that's showing up. 74.35, solid resistance for the stock in the December of 2021. We did make an all-time high right into July 2023. My birth year, or sorry, my birth month in July 2023. But then we got stuff right back to the south side. I'm guessing something to do with Okta, cybersecurity company who got hacked and flushes. If you're selling security for the internet and you're getting hacked, really, how freaking secure are you? So I think part of this was that over here. Now recovering a little bit and moving back to the upside, FTNT. So let's actually go into the 60-minute time frame chart, turn off the after hours for us, and take a look at maybe some of the levels that we're interested. So we do have that 52-week high mapped out. That is today's high. We have today's low already mapped out, which happens to be a little bit of a solid support area, as you guys can see. You can also throw in that area to keep an eye out for. Basically, if the stock cannot get under 64.78, you're still thinking bullish on this trade. If for any reason the stock is at 64.78, the only way you're even thinking shorts on this position is under $64. If the stock is under $64, that opens up a little bit of a room into $60 and much more to the downside. But we're not really talking about that right now, are we? Because the earnings report is positive. We already saw the move was to the upside in the after hours. So let's go look at some of the levels that might be interesting to the upside. That's a clean double top on the hourly chart. Clean double top on the hourly chart. We already have these two mapped out on the monthly chart, which is a longer time frame, but we're just looking at the hourly chart right now and looking for what areas are interesting. I think that's basically it. I'm guessing the stock is right now at that area. So let's go back to the 5-minute chart, turn on extended trading hours, and ta-da! There we go. Is this the 52-week? Yeah, no, that's coming from all the way back here, the old school line that we just mapped out. So 74.35 coming into play. Expecting $71.30, $71 to show a little bit support. If $71 does not hold on this stock, there is a possible gap close into $67.50. So you're watching for that, and you got to be careful for that one. Don't get burnt on that. So I'm just going to put 71 as my first area of support. My second area of support will be under 71 all the way back through to $67.50 for a nice little gap close, at which point we could possibly look for the stock to get long off of, and then have maybe even a swing trade into the all-time high, which all stocks are looking to go towards. So now the resistances we're looking out for, even though the stock did get above 74.35, I think that is a point of resistance. That's a point of support apparently in the after hours. So maybe we can actually put that above 71. 74. as a support, and the resistance will be whatever the after hour high over here is, around 78 to 78.30. Above that is 81.24, which is your all-time high. Pretty simple. What was it? 81.30, 81.30, 81.24, 81.30, same shit, potato, whatever. Is the all-time high. So pretty interesting to see if the stock can push into the all-time high tomorrow. I think there's a good chance that it does. There's a great chance that it does, not good. So FTNT, watching this one like a hawk without a doubt. BABA and VFC. Actually, let's go to VFC first, because BABA, we don't really have anything to talk about BABA other than quickly doing some research on it, which thankfully for you guys I already did. VFC, however, let's talk about this one. Earnings report taking the stock to the downside. There was a stock that recently IPO'd, AS. Let's go see what AS is looking like. A recent IPO, pushed up to the north side. I'm gonna actually call, nah, screw it, who cares. Recent IPO, pushed up to the north side on the second day, held up on the third day, and now on the fourth day, we're getting a little bit of a boost up. I'm guessing this boost up over here was actually because of a news article that came out. Lululemon's CEO, billionaire CEO of Lululemon, Wilson, something Wilson, has bought some shares of Amer Sports, basically looking to be an activist investor of some sort. He likes this company. I mean, I liked the company when we were doing research on it. So I was pretty hyped up about Amer Sports, and the long, however, didn't really play out the way that I wanted to, and the shorts weren't really that easy to get into either. The second day, had I known that the stock was taking off the way it did, it would have been a monster long opportunity. Some of my friends actually took that long. I even forgot the stock was existent the second day. Completely wiped out my memory. But yeah, AS over here, a little bit of an example of maybe what to expect from VSC. But however, VFC is nowhere close to Amer Sports in my opinion. Amer Sports is like Wilson. Wilson makes basketball for the NBA, NFL footballs. They make tennis rackets. They are basically the go-to company for half the sports out there in the world. So you know, VFC is a little bit smaller in like the popularity out there, in my opinion, than compared to Amer Sports. But then you also have Supreme, the North Face, which are some of the most hyped up and resold clothing companies out there. So VFC owns them both. Currently though, the earnings report hurting them sadly and pushing much more to the downside, right back into $15.25, which was the low. Let's go into the hourly chart and map some levels out that we might be interested in tomorrow. So right quick off the glance, I got that area. We got this little consolidation low that we are probably under already. Yeah, that's 16. We're at 15.30 if I remember correctly, 15.20 or something. We can kind of move this line maybe here. Yeah, I'll do that. That's why. On that day, the stock bounced off of that area, and for the rest of that day it basically consolidated in that low. It found support into that low all day at that 15.30, and today, after trading into 16.90, basically dropped right into that 15.30 area and found some support. The next little bit of a support expected to show up at 14.89, basically slightly under 15. If that 15 area doesn't hold, 14.89 doesn't hold, looks like the stock is getting pummeled all the way back into 14.50 or even lower than 14.50 into $14. So watch out for this one. VF Corporation not looking so hot at the moment, looking pretty scary for the long. So there's that 15.30 bounce that we just saw. There could be more supports coming in at $15. I mean, we could easily see the stock get bought up in this area, but if 15 does not hold, then that stop blowing the the stops triggering on the break of 1489 will probably bring that move into 1444 or lower. So watch out for that extended move to the downside on VFC. However, I think I'm not really that interested on the stock for tomorrow. We got FTNT, ELF, ENPH, Snapchat. We even have Ford for tomorrow. So VFC not that interesting. And here comes actually the more interesting stocks to be interested for tomorrow. I feel like I use the word interesting way too much. I need a better vocabulary. Baba. Let's start with some of the more fun stocks for tomorrow. These are the ones that announced earnings report in pre-market. So obviously, if they're reporting earnings in pre-market, it means that they have a conference call pre-market that could either break or make or shake our trades completely. So be very careful for said time periods of said stocks. Alibaba conference call apparently at 7:30 a.m. It's a Chinese stock. They're reporting the Chinese time periods, I'm pretty sure. So they will move in the Chinese markets first. They'll also have a conference call probably when we're sleeping. So I don't think that conference call time period is correct. 7:30 a.m. is probably wrong, but it says 7:30 according to my research. Uber 8 a.m. That one I can understand. 8 a.m. at Uber. CVS Health. So that one is at 8 o'clock a.m. also. Roblox, which is a gaming company, they are coming out with the conference call at 8:30 a.m. And XPO Logistics also coming out with their conference call at 8:30 a.m. A real quick look, since we're already on this page, for the earnings coming out tomorrow after hours. These are the stocks that we'll talk about tomorrow on the stream at 8 o'clock, so make sure you show up for that one. However, one of these stocks is on the watch list for today, and that one is Disney. The stocks tomorrow reporting after hours are PayPal, Disney, ARM, which is another semiconductor stock, Wynn Resorts. Recently I was in a Twitter Spaces call, and someone was hyping up Wynn Resorts. Basically, they're saying that the Las Vegas strip is going to be lit up this weekend. There's people coming in from all across the world to watch the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl's happening in Las Vegas. The gambling section is blowing up. I think gambling brought in the most revenue that they have ever brought in before recently. Someone was telling me that the cheapest, smallest booth in the resorts or the hotels or the viewing areas for the NFL is like $5 million. So we're expecting these companies to make quite a bit of a good chunk of money over here. Wynn and Las Vegas Sands and other gambling companies and so on. So keep an eye out for that one. But we'll get more in depth for these stocks tomorrow after hours, along with Mattel. So we'll watch to see what happens. Mattel basically got downgraded recently. They on the idea that the Barbie movie was overhyped. Basically saying that kids did not buy as many Barbie dolls as they thought that they would. So that one's Mattel tomorrow after hours. So real quick, I'll show you guys. Oh, come on. Real quick, I'll show you guys what some of these charts look like. Baba, pretty good move to the north side so far, bouncing off from the lows yet again, and trying to go back into the $100 area. We've seen these struggles on Baba previously, and then some relief, and then struggle again, and now we're kind of seeing maybe somewhat relief. Baba's move should also bleed into other stocks such as Pinduoduo and Baidu. Pinduoduo has been a lot stronger than Baba, but sadly Pinduoduo is also pulling back a little bit over here recently. Uber coming out with their earnings report, currently at all-time highs. The stock has been recently added into the S&P 500 index, so we'll be interested to see how the stock moves in the pre-market. I promise you we'll see a good chunk of volume if the earnings report's positive, and if the earnings report's negative, you will probably see the stock right back into $50, $57, a pretty big move down, because you don't want to see a stock who's been reporting red, negative earnings report, finally reporting 4 positive earnings report, which allows it to get added into the S&P 500, not 4 positive, but for money-making earnings reports, which allows the stock to be added into the S&P 500 index. The stock gets added into the S&P 500 index, and then the stock goes back to losing money. Not a good look, right? Not a good look at all if that happens. So in my opinion, if this one comes out with a negative earnings report or a miss, we're seeing it drop quite a bit to the downside. So I'll be very excited to see how Uber sets up for tomorrow. Real quick, why don't we just throw in some lines to the downside? However, to the upside, we do know that the stock is at all-time high territories. We don't have to really prep for that one, but let's kind of see where some of the levels are matching up or mapping out for the downside move if it does show out to play tomorrow. So some of the levels over here that I might be interested in are right in these ranges, and I think we easily drop back into the 65, and then on a longer time frame, much lower than that. 63, 61. Ooh, I remember how important that $61 was actually on the earning adding into the S&P 500 index after the S&P 500 add. I actually do remember how important that was. So that one makes sense to me. And then the 57.86 area, which is what I was talking about, right into this low. So I will not be surprised if we do see that on the negative earnings report for Uber. Uber taking its shareholders for a ride off a cliff. Off the cliff it goes. Hopefully not, man. Hopefully not. We'll see what happens. Not going to be a good look if the stock flushes. But I think you're, what, 2 for 2 on your predictions so far, TH, on your earnings predictions? Let's see if you can make it 3 for 3. Make it that Jordan 3-peat. And then eventually a Jordan 6-peat from your boy TH. He's calling out Uber off the cliff. Be careful. Be careful, ladies and gentlemen. My boy is 2 for 2. He's about to be 3 for 3. If you're long, be careful that you don't go off the cliff with the stock. Next stock, CVS. CVS is a little bit of a boomer stock. You know, it's stuck in a boomer of a range. We'll be interested to see how this one reports pre-market. Gonna quickly move away from this one. Roblox is a little bit more interesting. I do like trading Roblox. Anytime it reports, it does bring in some fun ranges to keep an eye out for. Let me quickly put some lines in for Roblox over here to the upside. The downside. And now we just wait to see what happens in pre-market to help make more levels on the chart or remove some of the levels off the chart. These are the levels I have mapped out right now. I'll be interested to see what type of levels show up tomorrow pre-market, and then based on that I can kind of revamp my levels. So here's Roblox, and last but not least, XPO. XPO also coming out with earnings report pre-market into all-time high territories. Basically, that clear blue sky. Is that all-time high? Let me just, yeah, into all-time high territories, clear blue skies. So just watch out for the rocket ship to take off if the report is good. If the report is not good, we could possibly see the stock dropping right into $90 and look for some support there and see what happens on that action to the downside. So watch out for the downside move into $90.50 on XPO. Will not gamble on this one, says Dieter. Good. Play with fire, get burnt, make silly mistakes, get silly results, fuck around, find out. I love you, Dieter. I love you. I think the part of the reason you gambled is because you were busy intraday. You were busy throughout the day. You know, I was blowing up your DMs and I wasn't getting a single reply. I was like, huh, maybe he's busy with the photo shoots that he does with these naked European models that you keep talking about. So, you know, you're probably looking at some beautiful tatas or some beautiful ahs. So, you know, I don't blame you for that. But I think the reason why you gambled is because you FOMO'd for not being able to trade intraday today. And that made you take that. But if you trade tomorrow, if you're free tomorrow, if you do trade tomorrow, I don't think you'll actually end up gambling. So we'll chalk it up to that. You know, put that in your diary. I FOMO'd. I will not FOMO again. Right? It's that simple. You FOMO, you will not FOMO again. I don't think you actually gambled. I think you FOMO'd. Right? It is a gamble. Not wrong. It is a gamble. But I think you FOMO'd, and that made your risk management a little wonky or whatever. I think your FOMO made you gamble, but it was more your FOMO at fault than your gamble at fault. You know, it was a good trade. There you go. It was a good trade. Oh, you're talking about SOXL. Okay, nice, awesome. But this is basically for the earnings board for tomorrow. Why don't we talk about some of the stocks that already reported earnings today, such as Spotify, Eli Lilly, Palantir, some of the movers and shakers from today. So here's Eli Lilly reporting earnings, and so here's Spotify reporting earnings, and basically what a rejection off a level that we had mapped out on Spotify last night. We had that level right there, 247.20-ish or so. I was watching the stock off the open today, run into that area and basically reject. Run into that area and reject. That was a monster short opportunity to get into, but I just never really pulled the trigger. I didn't trust my level strong enough, right? The stock is moving into, how big of a move is this? $24 when Spotify's ATR is $6.86. 10% move. That's kind of insane of a move. Are we expecting another 10% move to the north side? I mean, what are we talking here, right? So I was thinking this could be a short area, but I just didn't pull the trigger. That would have been a monster short had I caught that today. The overall move was, I mean, from there till even into maybe somewhere in the middle of the range is $12 move. I would have been able to catch about a near 5% move over there. That would have been lovely, but we missed out. Oh well, need to be more confident with my levels. Now for tomorrow, what do we think Spotify does? Spotify didn't really close the gap. It found buyers above the gap. That's bullish. QQQ was pretty hurdy today. SPY was positive, IWM was positive, but QQQ was pretty red today. And even though QQQ was red, Spotify managed to find some buyers well above the previous day's high. That is pretty damn bullish. Now the question is, what does it do tomorrow? I don't think the stock trades below yesterday's low tomorrow, but if it does, that's pretty bearish. You don't want to see the stock trading below yesterday's low. This also reminds me of a setup of another stock. I can't remember what stock it was. But it reminds me of a setup where the stock looks exactly like this. Doesn't really break yesterday's low on the second day. Earnings day move up, down, consolidates into the low of the second on earnings day. On the second day, pops up, goes into earnings day low or yesterday's low, and kind of consolidates here, breaks down a little bit, and then immediately pops back up, giving you the long signal, at which point the stock basically has an insane move back up. I forget what stock did that, but this looks a lot like that. So basically we're watching this 230 area, 229 to 230, see if buyers can come back into this 229 to 230, keep the stock propped up above that area, and then look for some longs back into the earnings VWAP of 237. That would be one ATR move right there, right? From 230 to 237, that would be about one ATR's worth of move. And then you can see a little bit of consolidation here, a second day move, a third day move into 247 or so or more, and then we can talk about this later. But right now we're basically waiting around 230 to see how the stock trades. We need to see buying at 230 on Spotify, or it's just no trade for me. Eli Lilly, however, did not do what Spotify did. It managed to actually go all the way back into what looks like yesterday's lows and bounce off of yesterday's lows. So not only did it close the gap, it went much more than closing the gap, actually ended up being red on the day. So the after hour move that the stock had off the earnings report completely negated and moved right back down. It did, however, as you guys can see, came right back into yesterday's VWAP, showing you that you can also see how the earnings anchored VWAP is basically around yesterday's VWAP, showing you that the average price for the traders around yesterday and today is right around the 706.50. That's also somewhere around the middle of these ranges, I guess. Not really the middle of that's 740. This is 705. So not really the middle of this range, but it's the middle of this range, right? 700, 711, 700, 711, and then 705, 706. So basically the middle of these two ranges, that's where the average price is showing up for both of these moves. Now the question is, what happens around this area? Will that average price turn into a support, or will it turn into resistance? Will the 706.50, 705 area turn into another sell-off point for the stock and flush back down, or will it find some buying and actually hold above 706 for us to look for a long move into 710, 711 area, at which point we could possibly look for more rejections? It's actually 712. So let's put in that area over here for stock 712 as a one area of resistance for us to possibly look at to see what happens tomorrow. For possible supports, you're watching basically at today's low around 691, but I think 700 is kind of a high inflection point. If the stock is not holding 700 tomorrow, then is it even bullish? Is it even bullish if it's not holding 700, right? So you want to see the stock holding 700 for us to even be thinking about the longs. If it's not holding 700, maybe you're walking away from that idea. Hertz was a what the fuck type of move, right? We did not see this one coming. We talked about the possibility of the stock reclaiming yesterday's high, at which point we could possibly look for a long for a move into $9, a 50-cent move. But I also said, you know, I'm not going to care about Hertz. Palantir is going to be the more fun stock, but it did do exactly what we wanted to see the stock do, which is reclaim yesterday's high and then kind of pop in. Now it looks like Hertz wants to reclaim $9 and go into this 930 area for those of you interested for that trade there. However, Hertz just not on my radar. We have other stocks doing tons of volume, other stocks that are going to do tons of volume, and some of the stocks that we haven't even talked about yet, which have done tons of volume. I mean, Palantir on that candle, on that 5-minute candle right there on the break of $22, brought in 2.4 million shares in 5 minutes. I mean, it brought in more than that off the open, but look at the time of day. That's at 3 o'clock on the break of $2. So on the break of $22, brought in 2.4 million shares. Insane volume over here for Palantir on the day today. 421 million shares traded. Let's just round it down. 420 million shares traded on the day for Palantir. Monster activity. I don't think I've seen Palantir ever bring in volume like that. Okay, never mind. Oh, this is on the monthly scale. Never mind. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. There you go. Yeah, I don't think Palantir's ever brought in volume like that. The last time Palantir brought in volume anywhere close to that was right there at the 300 and some odd million. And now we're at 420 million. So big increase on the demand for the stock. The supply is still there. There's a lot of supply for the stock. It's basic supply and demand, right? The supply meaning float. The float's huge for Palantir. Palantir's float's at 1.8 billion shares. Let's just say 2 billion shares. And you're seeing about 25%. 1 billion would be 50%. So 500 million would be 25%. 25% of the float basically being traded in one day. And that's the first time it's done this, showing you that there's an increase in demand. And then the sellers are, whoever's trying to short the stock is getting absolutely cleaned out. The stock is finally getting ready to kind of push into these ranges. The AI hype, the AI bubble, the AI craziness still behind on this position, or maybe just getting caught up on this position, right? So it will be fun to see if the stock can bring in more volume tomorrow. I want to see at least 100 million shares being traded tomorrow. If we see 200 million, that's even better. And we want to see the stock holding 22, not being under 22. It did break above 22 today, but then it struggled above 22, which was not a good thing to watch. So we want to see the stock above 22 and clearly above 22. The previous 52-week high, which was 21.85. Let's see if that came into play on the way down after fail breaking 22, and it did. You can see how it kind of got back under 21.85 and then it struggled again at 21.85. This is the same price that the stock has struggled at previously multiple times. This is the price, sorry, 21.85. This 22 area showed us enough selling in 2 days that took the stock right back into 16. We don't want to see that. We want to see it break out. So let's punch through 21.85. Let's actually punch through 22.18 and start seeing some moves to the north side on Palantir. Apple, monster strength on Apple today, even though the QQQ was so damn bearish. Look at Apple over here. In the end of the day, actually moving into the day's high, into 190. That's pretty insane. Did we break through 190 in the after hours? We did. Actually, no, we didn't. We just tickled 190 in the after hours. Shout out to that for Apple. But Apple's so damn strong today, up 0.86% when the QQQ is basically down 0.2. Not sure what the hell that's all about, but no complaints from me. No complaints from me. Maybe it's all the hype behind Apple Vision Pro and everyone wearing these Apple Vision Pro headsets and walking around and you know, posting pictures about them. MKBHD making a video about it. Casey Neistat making a video about it. So I think some of that is probably bleeding into it. Have you guys seen that product? I mean, that product looks amazing. It looks great. I haven't tried it, but I promise you it probably feels amazing too. They have the Disney Plus app for it. You can basically just, you know, not even need a TV anymore. Your wall is your TV, and you can just lay back on your bed. Even your roof is your TV. You can just lay back in your bed, strap on this helmet, and you're just looking up on the roof, and you're watching Disney Plus. You're watching you know, Marvel movies. You're watching Obi-Wan Kenobi, whatever the hell it is that you're interested in, or other movies, or YouTube, which is just, you know, what an insane time to be alive. What a time to be alive, right? So shout out to Apple on creating such amazing technology. I guess that technology already existed. Metaverse helmets, what was the other one? Hex Grid or some other helmet that they have, Google helmets and so on. But Apple really knocking this helmet out of the ballpark like they always do. They just come out with really good products. That's why I can't hate on Apple too much. I just can't, even though I'm anti-Apple. I just can't hate on Apple. They make such amazing products and advance technology in such beautiful ways. So shout out to Apple for that one. Their last advancement, I mean, I can't stop talking about it. I mean, look at it. Their last advancement was the iPod, right? The iPod. Then came, I don't think they really had any big advancement from the iPod to the iPad Touch, right? That's not that big of a change in my opinion. The iPod kind of revolutionized the way people listen to music. Revolutionized the way people listen to music. The second product that they revolutionized again is another product that the way people listen to music. It was headphones. I was thinking about this today on my way home, which is, you know, Bluetooth headphones were always there. You always had those weird one-ear Bluetooth headphones that people only use to talk on the phone, but they never really used to listen to music and so on. Maybe because their speakers weren't that great, or the mic wasn't that good, or whatever. They figured another revolutionary product and changed the headphone industry. Completely changed the headphone industry. And now, this product they're a little bit late to, because, you know, Google, Meta and other companies have been first to this product, first to market, but the way they did it, the way they're doing it is again revolutionary. So shout out to Apple to constantly pushing the technology game forward. Shout out to them. This is why I say no matter how big of an Apple hater you are, you cannot hate on what they do to technology and how they do it. Gotta love it. So Apple 190 coming into play tomorrow. For those of you interested, watch out for that. Microsoft and other stocks over here is always moving around the big techs. So let me just go talk about QQQ. It is a little bit of a boring inside day on the market, sadly. QQQ, a little bit of an inside day. S&P 500, also an inside day, but a little bit of a less boring inside day because it didn't really flush all the way to the low of the day. I guess I should call it more boring because QQQ actually had that volatile move, whereas the S&P 500 didn't really have that much of a move in it. Was a little bit boring compared to QQQ. QQQ, the tech sector, was the fun sector today, and usually always is. That's where my heart is always at. So keep an eye out for the markets to move around tomorrow. TH did say that the CMG stocks, Chipotle Mexican Grill, should stave the market tomorrow. So maybe we see another new all-time high coming into the S&P 500. Do we see 500 coming in soon on the S&P 500? That'll be interesting to watch. QQQ maybe also launches off with that. The fact that Apple is pretty strong on a down day. What happens tomorrow if Apple's strong? Right, so we'll be interested to see that one. We did talk about Disney, but I mean, we talked about Disney briefly, didn't really chart anything for it. So let's go chart Disney real quick over here, because I believe Disney might have some move tomorrow. You saw some after hour move come in, you saw some move even intraday come in at 10 o'clock. Looks like somebody knew something before the news hit the wires. Yeah, that news came out 2 hours ago, 1 hour ago, or maybe at 4 o'clock. But this started making a move at 10 o'clock. Rats. Somebody knew something, clearly, and they started buying up this position. So Disney starting to move back up north side over here finally on another positive catalyst. It's been having a positive catalyst after positive catalyst recently. Not sure how they've just been pumping up all these good catalysts so far, but I'm interested to see where the stock finds. Come on, let me throw a goddamn line in. I'm interested to see where the stock finds a little bit of a resistance tomorrow in the after hours on some of these moves. I actually haven't seen the after hour move for this stock at all. So let's go see what the after hour move is. You guys ready? I promise you it's somewhere between my purple box. Let's go see. Nowhere close. Okay. And this is why I'm not Prastradamus. I thought we would be over here off that catalyst. The catalyst actually brought the stock back down. Oh well, I thought it was a bullish catalyst. I thought it was a bullish enough of a catalyst that they were willing to group a bunch of sports streaming websites and companies together, basically allowing sports enthusiasts and sport fanatics to watch sports in a little bit better way instead of having to kind of scrounge and be like, oh my god, what service am I paying for? Is it on Hulu? Is it on ESPN Plus? Is it on TSN? Maybe we just combine them all and help out the sports world. So I thought it would be a good one, but I read that it moved the stock down. Yeah, it did move the stock down. I was pretty surprised by it. Let's go see if WBD moved down too. This one actually moved up off of that catalyst, so I guess WBD getting a little bit of a save, a little bit of a Hail Mary coming in off of this position to the north side. Let's see if this one gets stuffed right back down off of this move that we're seeing on the positive catalyst, or does this one actually get bought up and pushed to the north side? So watching WBD somewhere into this 1050 and then 1076. There's also a little bit of a wick action into 1090. So watching some areas over here on WBD for possible interest. Go back to the 5-minute chart and turn back on the extended trading hours, and there you go. That 1050 high did come into play, and we're now right under 1050 and 1025 area for WBD. Those are pretty much the stocks that we're interested in, but we're missing something for tomorrow, which is doing the important study for the IPO coming out. American Healthcare, REIT. Can someone explain to me what a REIT is, please? Because I don't know what the hell that is. Irvine, California. American Healthcare REIT. Okay, see more. We are a self-management REIT that acquires, owns, and operates a diversified portfolio of healthcare real estate properties, focusing primarily on MOBs, senior housing, SNF, healthcare, and healthcare facilities. We built to integrate it. I think I read this before. Why does this sound like why does it sound like a report that I've read already? Real estate investment trust. What's up, Urban Trader? How you doing, brother? I mean, they own quite a bit of stuff. They own a full hospital. They own about a 90% interest in the hospital, which is about 3.2% of their portfolio. They have other investments too, and they're talking about their investments. Somewhere I saw something about some loss prevention. You know what? Company overview: the self-managed real estate trust, blah 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 blah, specialized in acquiring, owning, and operating diversified portfolio of healthcare clinics, over 112 employees in the United States, United Kingdom, and the Isle of... what the fuck is the Isle of Man? What? Portfolio composition: as of 2023, the company's portfolio comprises of 298 buildings. Okay. Integrated senior health campuses totaling approximately 18 million square feet of gross leasable area. The portfolio is well diversified, including medical office buildings. That's what an MOB is. Integrated senior health campuses, senior housing, leased and owned, skilled nursing facilities, SNF, and I love ChatGPT, and hospitals. Financial snapshot: the company holds approximately 4.6, I love ChatGPT, billions in total assets, making it the 9th largest public reporting health. Wow. Public, okay, this is huge. 9th largest public reporting healthcare based on total assets. Their long-standing track record on expertise have facilitated the acquisition of 9.6 billion in healthcare real investments over the past 17 years. Strategic operating segments: the company operates across 6 reportable business segments. Blah 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 blah. The geographic footprint and operational focus: the company's broad geographic spans in United States, United Kingdom, Isle of Man. The focus of MOBs, campuses, shop, SNFs, and hospital positions under them, long growth. Basically, this is what we wanted, and that number is pretty bullish. All of that's pretty bullish too. Looks like a pretty big company. Looks like a company that we should have our eyes peeled out for. And their ticker will be AHR on the New York market. Not on the NASDAQ, on the New York market. They're offering about 8 million shares. And their offer amount, is it 8 million? 56 million. And that's an offer amount of almost $1 billion. Expected to open around $12 to $15 range. So we'll wait and see what happens on this one tomorrow as they get ready to open up. Oh man, I won't even be able to trade the stock tomorrow. That sucks. I mean, even if I go in tomorrow, I have to leave by 12:30 to be back home to take care of my dog, and the stock is probably not going to open till 1 o'clock. So wah, wah, wah. Probably won't be able to trade this one tomorrow, so I'll be missing out on it, but I hope you guys are able to smash this one. I do know Angry Buddha hates IPOs. At least I think he hates IPOs. But yeah, I love IPOs. It's where they do famous motorcycle race. Senior living is probably going to double over the next 5 to 10 years. I mean, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is that. One more thing before we forget is the economic calendar for tomorrow. A little bit busier than yesterday, or sorry, a little bit busier than today, but not really busy in the way that it's going to move the market too much. There's nothing really too important in the pre-market other than export imports. That's at 8:30 in the pre-market. Off the open, nothing really coming out until 10:30, but the only thing coming out at 10:30 is the crude oil inventories. Wednesdays and Thursdays, 10:30. Natural gas and oil gas number comes out on Wednesdays and Thursdays. You already know that. If you don't know, now you know. We do have, however, more Fed members coming out later on in the day. Today at 12 o'clock and 1 o'clock, we had Mester and Williams, I forget who, but the two of them came out today. Tomorrow, 12:30, we have Barkin, and 1 o'clock, we have Bowman. So watch out for that one, and a couple other important time periods, but I think those Fed members could possibly move the market. The most important number, however, tomorrow is that 1 o'clock 10-year auction note. Usually we see those 3 weeks, 2 weeks, all those boring ones. Those really don't matter. But the 10-year, the TLT, the 20-year, important ones. That one's coming out at 1 o'clock. That could move the market. So watch out for that one. The SMB video on how to trade IPO was interesting. They have a old one or a new one? That's 4 years ago. How to make an effective IPO trade to boost your trading profits. Yeah, that's basically what I did on the IPO. It's just you flip the chart. I found the buyer, I went long, and then I got out on the seller. But sadly, the seller was a pussy and the stock went to absolutely moonshot afterwards. That was CGON, if you guys remember. CGON, basically what I did. She gone right here. I went long and then I sold over here and the stock went to $40. So kill me. I hate my life. But look how the volume died down on the stock after that completely. I mean, is it even trading anymore? Jesus Christ. No volume at all. 600,000 shares traded compared to 7 million on the first day. Completely died off, but a little bit of a breakout happening. Hello? That breakout happens. Even it's gonna happen with low volume at all, even if it happens. But a breakout. Yeah, a little bit of a, that's an old video over there. Oldie but a goldie, I guess, as the people call it. Oldie but a goldie. But yeah, there you guys go. Economic calendar tomorrow. Watch out for that 1 o'clock. Couple Fed members coming out intraday tomorrow. Pre-market, only thing important is the import export numbers. And we do have a fun IPO tomorrow, AHR, to watch out for. Besides that, we have a pretty exciting watch list to keep an eye out for. Lots of earnings names, lots of fun tickers over there. So go have fun, go kill it on the markets tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. For me, that's all she basically wrote. I don't have anything else to talk about. I don't have anything else to chart about. So I'm going to wish you guys a great night. Go have a great sleep. Go have an even better market day tomorrow. I think I am actually going to be taking like, what, 2 weeks off of work. I'm not really off of work. I'll be trading in from home. But I won't be able to trade on a live account. I won't be able to trade on the live account. I'll only be able to trade on a paper account because of the connection issues from here, from my house to my work office computer. So because of that, I probably won't be doing as much trading. Even if I do, it'll probably be just in the opening session, so just so I don't lose the rhythm I'm in at the moment. But that opens up some fun activities for us, meaning tomorrow 9:30, if you're interested, there's a big chance that I pop up in the Discord and stream my paper trading on Discord tomorrow, and hang out with people on Discord, kind of have some good conversations. So if you're online tomorrow, if you want to come hang out at 9:30 in the Discord call, come check it out. If you aren't signed to our Discord yet, go check all the links right down below in the description. All my social media, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, where I'm usually the most active on, all of these 3 platforms, all down below, along with all the other social media platforms too. So go click on those links and go follow up. So for most likely for the next 2 weeks, unless there's a big trade coming up that I find that I have to go in and trade for, like let's say like an Nvidia earnings call, or sorry, not earnings call, earnings report, or something big that I find I have to go in, I'll probably be trading from home on paper for the next 2 weeks, mainly because I have to take care of my dog. Everyone from home is flying out, and I'm the only one here at the moment, so I'm gonna be having to take care of my dog. So that's that. So if you want to hang out with me on Discord tomorrow, once again, come join Discord. We're gonna have a lot of fun over there, trading once again with our fellow viewers, fellow friends, fellow chat members, and so on. Anything else that I have to update you guys on? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So come hang out on Discord tomorrow. Go check out my affiliate sponsors, Trade Ideas, Traders Sync, Benzinga, all of which help me keep my trading at its highest peak level performance that I possibly can keep it at. So go check them out. And last but not least, stay beautiful. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Ciao.
You are not like other carbon-based life forms. You put the value of all life above your own.
It's how things should be. It's how they could be.
I could not agree more. The world can be one together. Cosmos without hatred. Stars like diamonds in your eyes. The ground can be space. With feet marching towards a peaceful sky. All the moon men want things their way, but we make sure they see the sun. Goodbye, moon man. You say goodbye.